My name is Falasha, and my association with Biola Odejide spanned several years when we were students. And she was a pretty girl. And the girlfriend of my very best friend, one of my very, very best friends, whom unfortunately we lost a few years ago, Professor B.C. Odejide. I wish B.C. were here. That's all I wanted to say. But I thought we should, I should caution what you are doing today. What the women are telling us that we should be patronizing to them. But I think it's a wrong concept. And I like to talk to Professor Badru. The way it came across, it's coming across to people is that we should be patronizing to women. And I don't think that is the truth. Now, when I was the Vice Chancellor of this university, we wanted a good Deputy Vice Chancellor. And we identified Biola as one of the very good, solid professors of this university. In her own right. And the reason was this. It wasn't patronizing at all. The reason was this. We had external studies program, which had run down. And the university was in difficulties. The university had no money. And we wanted the extra study, which we renamed Distance Learning Program, to be one of the arrowheads to raise money for this university while fulfilling its role in educating the populace and giving her degrees to the people. And I recall the chairman, he's here, he was the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic. And we looked around and we said, who could reorganize external studies program into a virile distance learning program? And we came to Biola. There was no research at all. It wasn't because she was the wife of my friend or anything. We came to Biola. And Biola came there, reorganized that institution. And that institution, which was, in fact, making a paltry sum of money, became one of the money spinners for the university within 2 years. That is the quality of the lady we are talking about, of Biola. And secondly, I recall that at that time, I was in Tanzania. We were trying to organize, Makato was organizing for us a bandwidth for the whole universities in Africa so that it would be cheaper. And we paid a courtesy call to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Dar es Salaam, a very beautiful university like Ibadan. And he was fuming. And we said, what's your problem? He said, if I had my way, I will cancel law faculty in this university. Because the lawyers, they are always arguing and they never come to any conclusion. And we said, everybody laughed and said, look, you have the same problem. We have problems all over the world, including social sciences. I hope social scientists are not here, including social sciences, because they will criticize you from top to bottom. So I then answered, I said, why don't you make a woman your Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic? She will discipline them. And that was the time we started plotting to translate Biola Odejide to be the Deputy Vice Chancellor. And I'm happy that we succeeded in making her the Deputy Vice Chancellor based on her merit, not based on being patronizing her. And one of the problems the University of Ibadan had, I don't know nowadays, I left the University of Ibadan almost 10 years, was when they did admissions, we had more females than men. And when you look at the halls of residence, they were more for men. And only 2 halls of residence for females. And we managed to create a half of, I think it's about hall for the females, yet it was not enough. And not only that, what did we try to do? And I recall one of our meetings, I said, if Nnamdi Azikiwe, which was a very troublesome hall at that time, continues, I will close that hall and give it to women. And somebody will say, the alumni will not be happy with you. I said, well, they will not be happy, but if they continue on their one path, we will close it and give it to women. They deserve this. After all, they are doing better than the men. But more importantly, during graduation ceremonies that I presided at, when they called out the first class students, they were mainly women. So what I will advise this meeting to focus on is to remove the constraints that do not make women to progress as fast as men after the university. And that's in relation to childbearing, child, and so on and so forth. And I think if we do that, there will be no difference between men and women, and perhaps we will have gender studies. Or maybe we will not have gender studies for men. Once again, I just want to leave with you that Professor Odejide was a brilliant lady, brilliant administrator, and one of the best that contributed so much to the resuscitation of this university. And I'd like to thank her publicly, in addition to Professor Kiwumi, who was also the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, for doing so much to resuscitating the University of Ibadan. It had gone down before, but now we have the University of Ibadan. We are proud. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me that we could not have missed all that you have just heard. Yes, lots of things happened behind the scenes, but we were fair. We really thought it through and it worked. Once I saw a university in the US that had 200,000 distance learning students from China, from Japan, from Korea, from Hong Kong. And I came back and told my Vice Chancellor, this is the way to go. There is no boundary, no hall to stop. The only thing is have a good internet system so that you're talking here and your student in China is asking questions and you are answering. If you do that, I'm sure that the present distance learning University of Ibadan is making almost as much money for the university as the main university is doing. So why are we wasting time? We should move to it. But thank you, Biola Odejide, for putting that in. Thank you, Prof, for your contribution. Now, please, as the time is being spent, I am getting hints here and there. We will take a goodwill message from IITA, our partner in progress. After that, Yinka Ibokare, Dr. Yinka Ibokare, will also give a tribute. And then we will ask Professor Janice Olawoye to also say a word or two and then present the birthday gift which will be presented through our mama, Professor Mrs. Bolale Awe, because the day is fast spent, we don't want to waste time. So, can I ask the representative of the Director General IITA to come forward and give a tribute?
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. All protocols observed. The DG would have loved to be here, but he has been taken away by other protocols. He really likes capacity building and gender. And I really want to make it really, really brief. The theme picked is exciting and it's timely. And we wish to thank the organizers. We want to say that for the 45 years of IITA existence, there had been a mutual kind of memorandum of understanding where both institutes have been really been held. There are a lot of big people who are taking very important roles around the globe, and we need to acknowledge that. IIT and partners wish also to mainstream gender in our activities and our research work, for which we want to hold close collaboration with the University of Ibadan. I must say that recently the International Women's Day had a theme, gender agenda, gaining momentum. I hope that with these proceedings, the momentum that gender would gain would translate into many, many, many good things, of which I am witnessing today the achievement of Professor Abiola. And in fact, I didn't know this was what I was going to witness. And before I end, I want to say that we are highly impressed, ma. We are so proud of you. I want to add IIT's voice to thank you for a good work done and so much achieved. IITA wishes to pledge its support for said good cause, and we have sponsored some participants. We hope that this relationship will continue. I have really summarized my talk to save time because of man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very brief and to the point. Well, although they haven't asked us to announce how much is in it, IIT has provided substantial financial support. So a round of applause to IIT. I want to stretch forward to say that I am from agriculture. I used to be dean there, and I know how much IIT has done with the agronomy students, with our crop protection students, with our forestry students, giving us equipment, allowing us to use their labs, allowing us to use their chemicals. So many PhDs from our faculty have a lot to thank IIT for. Thank you. Give a message together. Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Yinka Ibokare.
Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my assignment is very brief, and I'll try to keep it brief. I have so much pleasure to speak for a few minutes about the guest of honor before the Book of Tributes is presented. Usually when students want to give speeches and they say they don't know where to start, we tease them and say they should start at the beginning. I can't start at the beginning because I'll keep us there for longer than necessary. So I'm going to probably start from the middle and the end, here and there. The Book of Tributes is probably going to be one of several volumes because there are so many people who don't feel too good that their tributes are not here. Yes, they've been making faces at me, and I want to say that this was an attempt, and we'll do it better and bigger so that everybody can be represented. And if it makes you feel better, my tribute is not here. Now, what do I say about Professor Abiola Odejide? I think it's better to just write a book, because the only reason my father asked me to fill in language arts during JAM was because she was there. He didn't know anything about the course. I wanted to fill in English. He said no. Mrs. Odejide's department, and I ended up in language arts, just like that. Mama is a trailblazer, and we've had so many things said about her today. She wrote an article for a journal I was editing after she completed her term as DVC academic, and she titled the article "A Piece of History." Now she's a very gender-sensitive person. So instead of just putting a piece of history, no, it had to be our story, not his story, because this was being written by her. She said then that she made a crack in the glass ceiling by becoming the first female BBC academic. Now, she went on to say she wished it wouldn't just be a crack, but that the real ceiling will be completely broken. And we see that there is more crack now because we have Professor Sonia on the table, and we're looking for the real shattering of the ceiling when we produce our first female Vice Chancellor. Mama cherishes honesty and sincerity, and you would only have problems working with her when you're not straightforward. She's very strict. And I've had some of our students come to me, they're standing at the door, they want to carry their files and go and see her. And they say, how come you're so free with her? And I scratch my head browsing. I wasn't free this much earlier in the early years, but now I know she doesn't back, she doesn't bite, it's just a front. So even if she's looking really serious, you too, whether you are shaking in your feet or not, no can enter, nothing will happen. I promise you. She's time conscious. You have an appointment with her, please keep to time, because she will keep to time. And she's bold, she's daring, and would always speak the truth, her mind. At that point, she's convinced this is the way it is, that's what she'll say. And I've had so many such encounters with her. One was a confrontation I thought would really rattle things. And she said, Dinka, you're going to follow me to bank, meet this person, and we're going to ask, is it true, so and so and so happened? And I stood there in the faculty car park and told her, Ma, I don't think I should go with you. I think you need to go with a fellow professor. I'm too small to go and confront anybody. And she said, okay, I agree with you. And that's something I appreciate about her too. You're not too young to tell her this is what you think should be done in a situation. And several times she would ask me, Inka, what do you think? Should we? And I'll say, yes, ma'am. Or sometimes I will tell her if I felt differently. And she would not discard your opinion, just like that. So, maybe one of the reasons she took interest in many of us that are mentees is that she celebrates excellence and brilliance. If she sees that you have something in you, she will push you even further than you want to be pushed. She will keep encouraging you, she will quarrel with you, she will scold you, so long as the work gets done. And this is something that she used to help many of us along the way. Now, she's firm, she's uncompromising, she's principled. And one other thing I appreciate so much about her are non-verbal cues. If you are close to Mama, she can say 1,000,001 things without saying a word. And if you are not sensitive to those non-verbal cues, she'll just keep increasing the intensity until you get the message. I'm sure Tolu can bear me witness. If you want to read a little more about Professor Abiola Odejide, I would say please get a copy of this very small tribute. And like I said earlier, it's going to get bigger. Mama, my mom calls her Mama Inka. We're proud of you, and we're glad you are being celebrated today. And we know that the Lord you serve so well will keep honoring you. Thank you, ma'am. My job is done, and I would want to especially welcome Professor Janice Olawoye, who is going to do the real book launch.
If you want to know about a teacher, ask the students. They have pet names for all of us who have ever taught. Thank you, Yinka.
Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm confused. I'm confused. What am I doing right now?
Don't be confused. make a comment of your own, then
Well, wait.
come and present.
Which one am I presenting?
That's
No,
supposed
I have a
to be.
reason for being confused.
I know that you have a full-time paper you have to present,
Yes, sir.
but we have changed gear.
I understand.
You know that there was traffic.
Yes,
It's
sir.
I'm only chairman. A
Yes.
chairman that does not listen to the committee
Yes, sir.
will be derailed. So, so please make a brief comment. Let's make the presentation. There are going to be more papers in the afternoon. You can then give your full paper. Okay? A little comment, and then you bring the presentation. And because we even want to hear from the celebrant before it's over.
Okay, so I shouldn't do the presentation. Okay. Please forgive me. I was confused. I'm no longer confused because my big uncle has clarified the error. There's been some changes along the way, but I think it's all for the best. Let me just say it is a very great privilege and honor to stand here today. I stand on existing protocols, except for the fact that I do have to greet my big sister, the celebrant of today. She's been an inspiration. She's been, so much support and encouragement, and a wonderful role model. You will also forgive me. I must treat my mother. You may not think that I look like her, but actually I do. I have a mother in America, but I have a very important mother in Nigeria who has taken me under my wing. Professor Bolale Awa, I will always recognize her as my mother. And I also want to greet all of my people from Ileogo, Ekabo. They are the people that teach teachers. I'm a rural sociologist, and I don't know anything about rural people or rural places until I talk to them, and then they teach me. So, having made those few comments, sir, my chairman, we'll go on to the other and very important. I'm not good at launching things. I don't know why, Stella, why did you put me in this position? I don't know how to ask people for money, and I could never sell anything, So don't come and give me IOU, I'll never be able to get it back. So if you give an IOU, you will speak to Stella, not to me, because I'm very bad with getting money from people. But this is something that we have to do. We have to do because we need to give honor to whom honor is due. I was sitting there when people, especially when Professor Falashe was talking about Professor Dejide, and I remember I had even written it in my tribute that is here, thankfully. And he had always called her a quiet achiever. That's what he always, anytime he stood up and introduced her, he would call her a quiet achiever. There are some people who make a great deal of noise and they achieve nothing. And there are some people who just will be working behind the scenes, and at the end of it, you will see great footsteps that they have left. And certainly she has done so much that the University of Ibadan will never forget her great achievements. And we want to appreciate her. And I was sitting there saying, some people go and they just say, thank God, though. the trouble has gone, and they would just say, good luck, bye-bye, and they would be happy. But when you are called back and you are appreciated, then I know that without asking her, I know that today is a day of great satisfaction and fulfillment. So, having said all of that, now we come to the point of launching, I guess, for money, yeah? No, be free. Let me tell you something about a book of tributes. You will see parts of a person that go even beyond if that person wrote an autobiography. Because there are things that other people see in you that you don't even know are there. And they will say things that maybe, I know in her humility, she would never applaud herself. She would never arrogate herself. And so consequently, when you look at what is written in here, you are seeing a picture of the person, the way other people see you. So many people, they will say big things, I have done this, I have done that. And at the end of it, you know that that's just pride speaking, and the fruits are not there. But I want to tell you that if you read this, you will see the real Professor Abiola Badejide. And so I'm going to open it up. You know, we used to do things, some people, they would get out in church and they would say, and if you give 50,000, God will bless you. Well, I'm not going to do that. But I am going to say, I don't know if there's any cost price or if this is voluntary. We're going to put it like an auction type of thing. And we're going to put it open. And I'm going to ask, perhaps, I always hate it when I'm sitting on the high table, because I know when they're doing launching, they will always start with the high table, because you are the ones that we see. And so I'm going to ask those on the high table to, first of all, if you want to be the ones like, say, well, I'm not going to give it publicly, but at the same time, we want to have it recorded that one is donating to this very worthy cause. I'm not too sure what the money is going for. Well, Stella, where's the money going? Won't that sort of, I mean, if you say it's going for some cause, but what I know is it's going for a good cause, and I'm rather suspecting that I know that there are a lot of programs that are slated for the gender mainstreaming, and Stella is always going to the VC's office and asking for money anyway. So maybe there are some programs that will really help gender mainstreaming at the University of Ibadan to go forward. And so I want to ask those at the high table to,
yes.
Mr. Chairman, help me out here.
I'm eager to peek into the book so I can know more about my dear friend. So please take this little token for a copy.
There's somebody there, yeah. Take a copy, You're just going for the money, you're not giving a copy. You're supposed to give a copy as well. All right. And the Deputy Vice Chancellor, admin, she put a crack in the ceiling so that you also would be, so that the crack got bigger when you got there. So,
thank you very much. I just want to add at this point that Professor Dejide planned, and I later came to benefit from it. She went to Queen's College, Yaba, and I was privileged to go to that great school too. So she's always been paving the way ahead of me. She was the first female DVC academic, breaking the taboo that a female cannot get there. And that was what paved the way for me to come later on. Therefore, I would purchase 10 copies of this book to give to every principal officer, and I'll turn the remaining copies to the University Library.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, the representative of the DG.
Thank you so much. I really love appreciating people who are being celebrated.
More so, a great woman of the African soil. I really appreciate you, ma. On my own behalf, I want to give this and take one. But I believe IITA will take 5 copies and later will bring money for that. Thank you.
Good. We are moving this.
5 more.
Okay. Professor, well, keep them. I'm not good with money. It flies away from me. Thank you very much, Prof. Maybe you want to take one for your daughter who's always giving you advice as well, so that you can give her some advice now and be like this. Okay, we're going to the other extreme end of the table, the high table, and the guest speaker the keynote speaker of today. Thank you very much, Ma. Hearing MC, have you noticed? Professor Malamo?
Yeah.
There she, they put everybody, all the, big ones are right there in the front. Professor Malamo, I know know too that we've all been affected positively. I think you should just stay there so that you don't, don't be coming back and forth. Just stay there. Don't let anybody escape. Uncle Francis. In his own case. He went into DLC following the foot. She did so much to make your job easier. So so it's payback time. Professor Abakar, I think Professor Kolawole, is he here? I saw him earlier. I think he may have gone. Being a dean, he's very, very busy. Yeah, well, we'll come to that. Where is Dr. Yinka? Okay. You're hiding back there. You talk so anyway, Sha. You are close to the whole thing. I know you put a lot of effort into this. And you're going to put some money into it too. Alright. There is somebody who is following in the gender mainstreaming office. She thinks because she's sitting there, she's been working since how many days that I will avoid her, but the new coordinator of the gender mainstreaming office. One of the nice things about being the person to lead the launching, I can escape myself, but don't worry, I will put something down there. All right, we are going to go, is there anyone here that is volunteering? From the, yes, we have universities here that are represented. I think that you need this to use as a role model for other women. In many of our universities, I was in Lautech just about a week and a half ago, and I gave a presentation on gender imbalance in the university setting. And one of the things that the Vice Chancellor, our own Professor Badageshi, said was that many of the women are not putting themselves out there. And so I think if you have copies of this and you can give to some of the female academicians in your university, it will go a long way to giving them the courage to see that they too can make it. So I'm going to open it up now. I'm going to ask trays to go around. Is there only one tray? If we can have trays going around. And please, I haven't given a minimum price because I don't think anybody should pay the minimum. I don't even know what it is. Okay, the minimum is 500 Naira. Please understand that when you see what people have done, and it is an encouragement, it can even be very good for if you have a female daughter, give it to her and show her that it pays to work hard, to have commitment, dedication, and integrity. And you can go through and reach the top and retain your integrity. And so with all of this, we salute the celebrants of today. And we just appeal to everybody, don't leave until you have a copy of these tributes. Mr. Chairman,
and who else will do the presentation but our home woman? So,
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I stand on I feel really privileged and honored to perform this assignment for so very many reasons. If I say I love Viola, people might start thinking of other things in these days and age. But I do respect Viola. And I respect her for so many things. First, for her humility. The fact that she's so unassuming. She just goes about her own way quietly. But secondly,
Biola has the language, she has the skill, she has the articulation. So she's able to articulate the issues of gender, which we are talking about today, in such beautiful language. I've had her give lectures. I think there was only a postgraduate school, and I was so happy after it, because I think it was one of the earliest lectures of gender in the postgraduate school. And I was so happy that there was somebody who could tell them just as it is. And Biola did it that day. And today, that has again been underlined by the fact that we're not asking for favors. We are not asking for favors. We are only asking for recognition. The fact that we are all citizens of this country, and we are to be treated as equal citizens in this country. And the issues have been so well articulated by Biola in her writings that you only have to read them to feel satisfied that the debate has been thoroughly done. I congratulate you, Biola, for what you have done. Not only in this, in my tribute, I was always tempted to talk about the children's literature, but I said, look, this is not, we are talking about gender here, so let's leave the children's literature out. But I have heard you make contribution on children's literature. That's your inaugural lecture. My memory is still good. And I remember that so well. And I hope that in your retirement, gender will still be a topic which we will consider, and also children's literature. And of course,
thank you, man. That is beautiful. I want to stretch hand. Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yorùbá bọ̀ wọ́n ní àìsí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àìdásí. Several siblings of Professor Biola Abejide were introduced to us. I imagine that they will also want to launch this book of tribute. And I have here with me Mrs. Musu Osayomi, who's taking the books to them.
As I was listening to the other presentations, I was wondering, where is this one fitting in, since we don't have gender and technology or whatever. And I believe that it is an example, one example of how we can indeed integrate gender into one of the disciplines, and in this case, into agriculture. How are you doing, my brother? Are you getting it on? Okay. Yeah. So understand that gender is a cross-cutting issue. It is relevant in every discipline. Now, let me just say that I'm going to really be brief. I'm going to summarize so much. So I hope that you'll be able to keep up with me there, my brother. So in this presentation, we're going to focus on how gender is relevant to the discipline of agriculture. And before I say that, there are a few opening remarks that should be made before going on. First and foremost, we have made great progress in the area of gender sensitization over the last 2 to 3 decades. There has been some definitions and some discussions about what is gender and all of that. And I think we are getting past that point. We're getting past the point where what is it to what can we do about it? How can we integrate it and take some action to ensure gender equity? So for this reason, it's assumed that everybody here should have some sense of understanding of the gender issues. But secondly, can you go on, please? Let me make this statement, and that is gender sensitization standing alone achieves little or nothing. It's only when programs or projects or training materials are engendered, that is, gender is put into practical application, that there can be some gains in removing gender-related obstacles to development interventions and achieving greater gender equity. There are many people who have attended many seminars or workshops on gender sensitization, but they leave without a clear idea of how to apply the principles and the concepts and the processes. So consequently, there is little change from the status quo. In other words, where are you going? Man, you're running. I think I'm on slide 2 and you're on slide, I don't know where. Okay, there you are. So it's not just a question of being more sensitive. It's a question of doing something about it. Let's go beyond just knowing what gender is. Let's go beyond gender awareness. Let's go beyond just having the facts and get to the point where we practicalize this and integrate gender into higher education in Africa. If we can do that, if we can really cover some of those aspects in today and tomorrow, then we can go back to our institutions and implement what we have learned, not just to say we know what gender is. The views that I present on gender issue are informed largely on personal field work carried out throughout Nigeria and Ghana. I think this should be a very practical oriented kind of thing, not just theory, not just what has been published. And the people I refer to today are largely rural men and women. And I urge you to put yourself in the position of the people we are supposed to assist, whether you're in the area of agriculture and